Good morning, family. Always a pleasure to be on live with you. So, for all of those who are joining me live, God bless you. Good to see you again. Everybody catching the replay, what's up? Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. And I pray that what you hear in this video is going to be a blessing to you. As always, I'm going to ask you to share this video with somebody because if it blesses you, it'll probably bless them as well. So, let's get into it. So, here's what I was thinking about this morning as I was preparing to just chat with you this morning. And I got to thinking about Abraham and something that I call Abrahamic faith. And let me tell you what I mean by that. First of all, we know what faith is. Faith is the substance of what you're hoping for. It's the evidence of what you don't see. So in order to have faith, you first have to have something that you're hoping for. There also has to be an object of your faith, right? So it's what I'm hoping for and who I'm hoping in. So I think we a lot of times get the idea of faith, and when we think about faith, we generally think about receiving. I'm going to say that again. Usually when we think about faith, we usually think about receiving. We usually have faith that God is going to open a door. We have faith that God is going to provide a blessing. We have faith that God is going to make a way out of no way. A lot of times we find ourselves in difficult situations and we have faith that God is going to show up in the middle of that situation. Usually when we talk about or think about faith, we usually think about receiving. But I want to challenge you today in something that I'm calling Abrahamic faith, which is a faith that allows you to give things up. A faith that allows you to let go of things. A faith that allows you to release things because you don't just believe God for what you're asking for, but you also believe God to let go of what he's asking for. Yeah. So if you know the story of Abraham, you know that Abraham believed God for what he wanted to receive. God told him that he was going to give him a son. And Abraham believed God for that son. And so here's Abraham believing God for that son, and eventually God does exactly what he said he was going to do, and he gives Abraham a son. Just like most of us, we tend to have faith in what we're waiting for. We have faith in something that we ask for or something that we're looking to receive. But Abrahamic faith takes this a step further because 16 years after God gave Abraham what he had believed for, God then asked Abraham to give up something that was valuable and important to him, namely his son. So Abrahamic faith is when you have enough faith in God that you're willing to let go of some things. You have enough faith in God that you're willing to give up some things. And that's where your faith really gets tested because, see, when God tells you to let go of that relationship, when God tells you to walk away from that situation, when God tells you to give something that you didn't really want to give, that's where Abrahamic faith, you have enough faith to relieve God for what you wanted. But do you have enough faith to let go of something that God wants you to let go of? Do you have enough faith to let go of something you really want? Yeah, that's a different kind of faith. That's the kind of faith that puts what God wants above what you want. That's the kind of faith that puts what God is asking for above what you desire. Yeah, that's a different level of faith where you can have the kind of faith where not only did you believe God for something that you were asking for, but you also believed God to be okay with letting go of what God wants you to let go of. Abrahamic faith. The kind of faith where when God says, I want you to sacrifice, give up, let go of something that means something to you, you say, you know what, God, as much as this means to me, you mean more. Obeying you means more. Doing what you want means more. So yes, this means the world to me, but you mean more. So whatever it is you want me to let go, whatever you want me to give, whatever you want me to give up, whatever that is, I want you more than I want this. I want to obey you more than I want to please myself. This is Abrahamic faith. And I want to challenge some of you that are watching this video right now and ask you whether or not you believe you are operating in Abrahamic faith. Not just enough faith to believe God for what you want, but do you have enough faith to walk away from that situation God's been telling you to walk away from? Do you have enough faith to stop doing those things that God has been impressing upon your heart that he wants you to stop doing? Do you have enough faith to give in a way that God has been telling you to give with your tithes and with your offering? Do you have that kind of faith? Do you have the kind of faith to let go of what you've been holding on to when God tells you to let go? Some of you have found so much solace and so much safety in the things that you have. And God is saying, I don't want you to find your safety in what you have. I want you to find your safety in who I am. And so I might ask you to give up some things where you found safety in. I might ask you to give up some things that you've been holding on to. And the idea of giving those things up is driving you crazy. But that's because you put your hope, your faith, your trust in those things. If your hope, faith, and trust, just like Abraham, is in God, then you'll be willing to give it up. Here, I'll take it a step further. God told Abraham he'd be the father of many nations when he didn't have any children. So then he promised him he would have a child. So Abraham could have put his faith, hope, and trust about being the father of many nations in his child. I have a child, so that means that I'll be able to be the father of many nations. And then God says, all that hope, that faith, that trust that you have, what I want you to do is I want you to sacrifice your son. Now, Abraham could have been like, if I sacrifice my son, there's no way that I'm going to be able to have what you told me I was going to have. You told me I was going to be the father of many nations, and now you tell me to sacrifice your son, my son. You ever feel like God was asking you to do something that seemed contrary to what's best for you? You ever felt like God is showing you what direction he wants you to go in, and so you feel that this is what's best for you to have these things, and yet God is sending you in a different direction, and you're like, but wait, if I do that, then how am I ever going to have this? If I listen to that, if I obey that, how am I ever going to have this? And so that's the position Abraham could have found himself in. But what blesses me is what I want to encourage you. Abraham didn't argue with God. Abraham didn't argue with what God was asking for. Abraham said, my faith is not in my son. My faith is in the God who gave me my son. And so if the God who gave me my son is asking for my son, he's going to have to figure out some way to do what he promised he would do, because my faith is not in what I have. My faith is in who gave it to me. So if the God who gave it to me asks for it back, then I'm going to give it back, because some way, somehow, he's going to have to figure out how he's going to do what he promised he was going to do with or without this stuff he gave. That's Abrahamic faith. So some of you have faith in some things that God has already spoken in your life. And let me tell you, no matter what God asks for out of your life, trust and believe like Abraham did, that no matter what God asks for, he's still responsible for fulfilling his word in your life. So God is always going to do what God said he was going to do with or without the things that currently exist in your life. Sometimes, just like in Abraham's case, the only reason why he's asking you to do it is to show you, or for you to show you, where your faith really lies. Abraham said, my faith doesn't rely on my son. I know that technically speaking, in order for me to have generations and in order for me to have more seed than the stars in the sky, I kind of have to have a son. But my faith is not in my son. My faith is not in what I have. My faith is not what's in my possession. My faith is in who gave it to me. So whatever I got to do, that's what I'm going to do. If he says give it up, I'm going to give it up, because that's where my faith lies. And that's what I want to encourage you with today. I want to encourage you to start operating in Abrahamic faith, not just faith to ask for stuff, but also the faith to let go of stuff. Let some things go. Show God that he is indeed God in your life, and he is greater than anything and anyone you have. Abrahamic faith. I pray that that was a blessing for somebody. I pray that that even challenged your faith to come on up a little bit higher, right? Maybe you've been struggling in the area of tithing because you don't really have a lot of money and you got bills and your money is, yeah. And God said, I promised you that I would supply all your needs according to my riches and glory. So if I promised you that, I'm going to do that with or without what you have in your hands right now. So if you show me that I come first and you give the tithe as an act of faith to say, God, I don't know how these bills are going to get paid, but I'm still going to honor you first because you are responsible for your word. I feel like somebody's faith just got challenged today. I feel like somebody's faith is being challenged in areas of your life. And so I want to encourage you with that word of Abrahamic faith to come on up a little bit higher and be willing to let go. Don't just be willing to receive, but be willing to let go of whatever God is asking you to let go of. All right. I pray that that word was encouraging to somebody. I pray that you got something out of it. And listen, if it was a blessing to you, you know what I'm going to say. It was probably would be a blessing to somebody else. So would you do me a favor? Would you hit that share button right down there? Yeah, hit that share button. Say a little something about it on your page. Tell somebody why they should watch this video and go ahead and share it on your page. Also, there are more videos just like this on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to me on YouTube, I want to encourage you to do that as well. Subscribe to me on YouTube and you'll see more motivational videos just like this. If you are watching this on YouTube, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and then go ahead and do the bell notification thingy right there so you can be notified whenever I put up a new video. God bless you. I pray that this word is encouraging to you. I love you. Until next time, have a victorious week, y'all.